Here's the question every architect needs to answer right now. What is your role in the era of AI? Because here's what I'm seeing. Most architects are getting this completely wrong. They think AI is just another tool to play with. But in reality, AI is fundamentally changing what it means to be an architect. You are no longer just the designer, you're the conductor. AI is just your instrument. And there are new skills you absolutely need to master if you want to stay relevant. But here's the good news. I've been studying how firms are actually implementing AI, and I discovered something surprising. If you're a small or medium-sized firm, you actually have a massive advantage right now. While the big firms are moving slow and being overly cautious, you can move fast, test tools, and get real results. So in this video, I'm breaking down your new role as an architect, the skills you need to develop, and some tips to successfully implement AI in your practice the right way. But first, if you are serious about making your architecture firm grow, or you are an architect willing to learn these systems and apply it to your company, I have put together an AI discovery for architects resource that you can access and get familiar with the fundamentals of AI for architecture. So comment presentation below and we will send you the guide to access it on demand. All right, let's jump into the video. Hey guys, welcome to this presentation. So I'm excited about today because we're going to be talking about your role as an architect thought leader in the AI era. And the main thing I want to tell you guys is that the profession is not being replaced, it's being refined. And the architect is really the conductor and not the instrument here. So we're going to be talking about what is the thought leader versus the thought assistant or thought partner in this case, and how architects are going to be driving the seat, are going to be in the driver's seat, and AI is more the assistant and the one that is going to help us enhance our productivity and our designs. We're also going to be touching base about the AI reality checks, like how throughout service, a lot of the architecture firms are starting to incorporate AI, but they haven't really found the right way to implement it yet. And also we're going to go and see what is the right way to start implementing AI and then what works, in what ways is working better for everybody else. And lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about the mindset shift before we move into the next steps, and a little bit of just changing that mindset shift in a corporate environment or in a company, where how can we affect a little bit on the culture and the alignment and the fears on other people and you, and create a little bit more of a curiosity and that wow factor for you to start really implementing AI. And with that being said, we're going to go to the next slide. Great. So on this next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the architect as the augmented conductor and just a little bit of harnessing the computational power while retaining the conceptual control. So understanding that at the end of the day, the authorship, the ethics, and the design intent remain strictly our responsibility as architects and designers. So really understanding that AI is here to assist you and is going to give you all the data and information that you need, while at the same time helping you creating that design. But ultimately, it comes to our responsibility to take final decisions to make sure that the design actually makes sense, that the AI is there to just assist you, to give you all the information, everything that you need to make your work easier. In a way, right? So just think about it as just an assistant that is smart, that is able to collect a lot of information and give you ideas. But ultimately, designers, architects, we're the responsibles that to maintain the design intent and to bring a project that makes sense together. So with that being said, with AI now in the picture, there's 3 skills that we really as architects need to start implementing or start developing a little bit more than before. The first one here is to just become this sort of like spatial data analyst, because now we have tools that can really help us to predict, that help us with predictive modeling, real-time insights, performance optimizations. And it's called like a data-driven analyst and visualizer tools that can really help us take decisions. And that's what we're calling, for instance, in this charge, data intelligence. So as architects or people working in the architecture industry, we need to start implementing these tools and understanding how can we leverage these tools to start talking to our models or our mass models, or start kind of giving us predictive data for us to start taking decisions. So that's the first one here. The second one will be more like a curator of options. So based on the stakeholders, the client values, and the constraints of the territory, of the fabric of the city, we can start getting different design ideas and implementations. Something that it's kind of more, whether or not you want something more like a sustainable choices or more in the ethical backgrounds or several materials or specific design style, you can start leveraging ideas, whether it's with things like Midjourney or Nano Banana Pro, something more like just imagery, or something more that lives in a model with like Finch or TestFit or Forma, where you can actually start changing at that generative. You can literally start leveraging the generative design to start kind of coming up with different mass model ideas, floor plans, and things like that. So think about it as we start kind of getting ideas of, and not just ideas as far as data, but also ideas about layout, about design, and we can really start nitpicking on what's working, what's not working. We can start really having these conversations with the clients, with consultants, with whoever is also a decision maker on this project, and start thinking about, okay, this works, this doesn't work. Once the design is in there, you can also come back to it, to the data intelligence, like how does this design performs now that we have the data, the optimization. How does this design performs? What if we make it, instead of two floors, 3 floors, what if we put a garage underneath? Really start playing with the design options, but also the data, right? So you start kind of curating all these options to have one or two best decisions or best possible designs. So you can polish the design a lot more. And now it's data driven and it's not just a best guess. Then later on, we can also start developing the skill about strategic, as sort of like what we call a strategic vision or strategic designer. And this is like coordinating like your internal team, coordinating engineering, coordinating urban planners, city stakeholders into a holistic vision. But now that you have the data, now that you have a lot of options of design, you can literally start leveraging the team to have like a vision on what does this building look like, rather than in the past. For instance, you will come up with 1 or 2 designs and there was a reason to, but now you have a lot of data backing you up. There's a lot of actually information living in the model that we can start strategically thinking about and making people part of the process. So really start finding ways of alignment to solve complex problems in a building and to just integrate information from other resources as far as consultants, teams, engineering, and all those things. So those are the 3, let's call it, skills that we really need to start developing our architects now that we have this new tool in. So now with that being said, we're going to go to the next slide. If you are serious about making your architecture firm grow, or you are an architect willing to learn these systems and apply it to your company, I have put together an AI discovery for architects resource that you can access and get familiar with the fundamentals of AI for architecture. So comment presentation below and we will send you the guide to access it on demand. All right, let's jump into the video. Okay, great. So in this next slide, we're really going to talk a little bit about the reality check. I think a lot of architecture firms, now that we've been trying to implement AI, we're starting to realize how hard it is to implement a new tool in an organization. I think it's a lot easier when you're just playing with your own AI, whether it's an LLM, ChatGPT, or whatever you want to call it, but then actually implement it in a company to where all can learn, or we can all implement it in a successful way. So here's where it comes the reality check of how difficult it is to implement it. So something that we call strategic implementation is what, especially right now, larger firms are pioneering this. And the main thing is that they say that rather than having fast adoption of AI, they'd rather be more focused and be more strategic about what to implement. So they are kind of being more thoughtful over fast. Now, a caveat for this, and this is something if you're an architect that it's working in a small size firm or in a medium size firm, the great thing about that is that you can move faster than larger firms. Now, what I mean is doesn't mean like go faster than them as far as like thoughtful over fast, as far as like coming out with 4 tools that can like help you solve 4 different topics, because that's not the right way to implement it. I think what you can do is, one, realizing that as a small firm or a medium-sized firm, you can go faster than a larger firm, but also realizing that larger firms are telling you that for them has become better to be more thoughtful and go more in depth into the tool, and adopting less tools and go more in depth into the tools rather than just pick a lot of tools and go fast. So a right way to balance this approach is that you pick one pain point that you want to solve, and with that pick different tools that you can test, so you go faster as far as implementing the better tool for your company, but at the same time go more in depth why while you choose that tool. So I'm going to give you an example here. So if you're in a small or medium-sized architecture firm, let's say you guys want to implement a meeting note taker so everybody kind of saves time on that, rather than you only testing one tool and go in depth into the tool, how a large, you can pick that pain point, which is the meeting notes, but pick 3 tools. So you can pick whether it's Fireflies, Phantom AI, Reading AI. You can implement 3 tools, test those for a month, not throughout the whole company, but through a little pilot project. Maybe 2 or 3 people can be utilizing these tools, and then get feedback after a month on those 3 tools. And from those 3 tools, you can really see which one has the more potential, which one is easier to use, which one as of the company has a better little alignment on the output that it's giving you. And then you can pick that one tool that you like the most, and then you can go in depth. And now you can go more thoroughly into the tool for them to kind of have a successful implementation. So I think that's the right way to look at it, just because I see a lot of larger firms coming up with this wisdom of how they implement it, but also understanding that there's a better way for small and medium-sized firms to leverage the knowledge of the larger firms, but at the same time, utilizing the strengths of a small or medium-sized firm. So that's on that. Also, here a little bit of the data that I found really interesting is here that 52% of the firms means that they have effective specification processes, which means that almost half of them, they don't have a specification process that works. And not many people are utilizing AI for this specific topic, but here's the strategy here. So only 5% of companies are actually exploring AI solutions for them, meaning that a lot of architecture firms are actually implementing AI, but they're also only implementing out of the box AI solutions, meaning that if you are looking for rendering, you go to Midjourney and you go and do your own rendering in Midjourney or ideation, and that's it. But they're not really exploring AI solutions that are specifically meant for their company, meaning like, are you guys creating custom GPTs? Are you guys creating your custom mood boards, custom things that are specifically for your company? And only 5% of companies are implementing these custom solutions for them, even though they are not that difficult to implement or create. So that's a huge potential right there for your company to start creating these custom tools, leverage already these, let's call it pre-made tools already that are available to you. And the other great thing is that like 82% of companies are like have opted to support responsible AI use in architecture. And this is very important because in our field, even though AI has a great potential, just like any other design company or creative industry, is also very important that we are committed to utilize AI responsibly, to not steal nobody's ideas, and to actually have a thorough way of designing things, because AI can give you a lot of ideas that are not really well thought through. And if we just start utilizing these ideas without us giving out the proper knowledge and proper context and actually curating them, then we're not gonna, that's not the right way to use AI. And I feel like a lot of the people, especially people that are not even architects, I think a lot of people like clients are starting to use AI as a way to be their own architect without really understanding the thorough process that we go into design and putting the layouts together and putting plans together. And there's a process to that. So really coming out that you as an architect assume responsibility that you're gonna utilize AI in a responsible way and be thorough about AI, and you making sure that you're in the driver's seat and AI is a tool that can help you enhance your abilities, but is not gonna take over and just giving you some solutions that are not necessarily what the client wants, or are not beneficial for anyone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe so we can send you more notifications. And if you are serious about making your architecture firm grow, or you are an architect willing to learn these systems and apply to your company, I have put together an AI Discovery Guide webinar and a PDF guide that you can access and get familiar with the fundamentals of AI for architecture. So comment presentation below and we will send you the guide to access it on demand. All right. Thank you so much for watching.